Welcome to the Cigarette Craving Buster. 5 steps to saying goodbye to cravings even when you're stressed. Why did I create the 5-step cigarette craving buster? Well, most smokers I meet tell me that giving up cigarettes would be easier without cravings. So, who am I? My name is Dr. Adam Arnold, and I'm a stop smoking in 60 minutes specialist. And let me tell you a little story about how the cigarette craving buster came about. About 6 years ago, I had a client, and we'll call her Debby just to protect her identity. And Debby inspired me to create the Craving Buster for smokers. Debby was 32 and a 1 pack a day smoker. She was desperate to quit smoking. She had started smoking when she was about 13 years of age and had continued to smoke throughout her adult life, a story that I've literally heard hundreds of times before. Now, Debby and her partner were wanting to have a baby, but Debby didn't want to be a pregnant smoking mother. Debby was also concerned about what the cigarettes were doing to her skin and lungs. She had already started to develop some lines, and she was also developing a cough and noticing she was getting colds and flus more regularly than before. So Debby made an appointment with me, and after the appointment, she was a non-smoker. The next day, I followed her up with a phone call, and she related back to me how great she felt, but she was still a bit nervous, and she couldn't believe that it was really that easy. I assured her everything was fine and that she was now a non-smoker. So I continued to follow up Debby, and about after 6 months after the session that she had with me, she said she was doing great, but sometimes she was thinking about cigarettes when she was in times of stress. She said she would never cave into the thought, but there was something, wanting to know if there's something I could do to help her to overcome these thoughts about cigarettes. So I started racking my brain about what I could do and what I could give her to do on her own. Now, I know from all of my studies about human neurology that cravings come from the unconscious part of the brain, where your emotions are formed. And if I could help Debby to change her emotional state, she wouldn't be thinking about the cigarettes any longer. This, by the way, is how hypnosis had worked so well for Debby. It was working with her unconscious part of her mind, the area where your emotions are developed. So I knew that to help Debby with the Craving Buster, that the Craving Buster needed to have some key components to it. The first is it had to be convenient, because let's face it, cigarette cravings can come on at any time. The second is it had to be discreet. So if you're going to do something to bust a craving and you're out in the middle of the public somewhere, you wanted to make sure that it was something that other people wouldn't even notice that you were doing. And the third thing is, because we're dealing with emotions, it had to be powerful. The Craving Buster needed to help overcome some pretty strong emotions. So this is what we created for Debby. Now, the Craving Buster forces a smoker to become mindful of your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. More importantly, it allows you to change a negative emotion into a positive, which will help you to forget about cigarettes. It works like magic, and the great thing about it is, the more you do it, the calmer you are, and you'll actually find you can use it for other purposes too. It's something many of my clients will share with friends and family too, because it can really help to reduce stress or anger or any other negative feeling you're having. So how do you do the Craving Buster? Anytime you're feeling a craving for a cigarette, or you might have a negative emotion like stress or anger, then do these 5 steps. Even better, I would suggest you make a list of when you like to smoke, and catch yourself before you light up a cigarette and implement the Cravings Buster. See what kind of an impact it can have on your smoking habit. So let's begin with step 1. Ask yourself in the moment that you have this negative emotion or this craving, what is my meaning? Just become aware of whatever your answer is. It doesn't matter what your answer is, or even if you have an answer, just ask the question, what is my meaning? Then proceed to step 2. Now, step 2 is where you're going to ask yourself, where am I having this feeling? Where's this craving at? Ask yourself where in the body you're having the feeling. Is it in your stomach, your head, your heart, or your left foot? Where is this feeling? Then proceed to step 3 and become aware of what's happening inside of your body. What's happening with your breath? Are you breathing from your chest or your stomach? Is there maybe tension in your shoulders or in your head? Then proceed to step 4 after you've realized where the tension is at. Now, in step 4, you want to ask yourself, What feeling do I want instead? What feeling do I want instead of this tension or this craving? What is the feeling that you desire? Is your feeling to be relaxed that you want? Is it to be happy? Is it to feel loved? Ask yourself what feeling that you want. And then in step 5, this is where the solution comes. You're going to simply ask yourself, what's the first action that I should now be taking? In other words, what action do I need to take to feel the feeling that you desire? Is it to breathe or have a glass of water? Maybe it's just to simply go for a walk or have a hug from one of your children or your spouse. Whatever it is, go ahead and do that instead of having a cigarette. So there you go. Those are the 5 steps. Now, I'm proud to tell you that Debbie's results was that she was still a happy non-smoker. It helped her get rid of all of her thoughts, and she became even calmer than what she was already. Now, 6 years later, I'm proud to say that Debbie's also the proud mother of a 4-year-old daughter. She no longer has coughs, and she no longer has all the colds and all the other problems that she was having before as a smoker. And she's a proud role model to her daughter. Now, I know that you can do this if you implement this. Now, if you're still needing some help with your cigarette habit, then I would encourage you to simply call our office on 1-300-769-3999 and speak with one of our Quit Smoking in 60 Minutes specialists to see if there's something that we can help you.